Hello dear one, this is Maria with you again, Maria from the Awakening Path. For you that's new to my channel, I make videos in English, Portuguese and Spanish, and the playlist for all my videos in English is in the description of this video. For you that's watching in TikTok, I invite you to come to YouTube to watch the full presentation. So we were created by God like Himself. We are part of God's consciousness. We are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. When we incarnate on the body, only a little portion of this consciousness comes to the body. The other remain with God and has the knowledge of everything. And it's always trying to guide us to the next best steps towards our purpose on this incarnation. How it does that? Through our emotional guidance system. When you are feeling good, that means you are in alignment with your purpose and you are choosing love. When you feel bad, you are making your decisions based on fear and you are walking away from your purpose. So today I'm gonna do the second part of the presentation for the evolution of the planet Earth. Let me show my screen. I will just do a quick overview of the first part and then we proceed. So Earth was created 4 billion years ago. I created a video and the video is already there where I explain about the creation of the planet and also the creation of the first human bodies. 4 million years ago, Earth started to receive visitors from all over the universe. 20 million years ago, Earth received the first human bodies. There was 2 civilizations, the Atlanteans and Lemurians. The Lemurians had more the divine feminine energy based on intuition, connection to the nature, and the Lemurians was more the divine feminine, technology and science. And some of them start playing with low vibration energies like fear, pride, hate, and so on. So it did attracted some extraterrestrials that were over there vibrating under the 5th dimension, and they say, look, the humans are playing with our toys, now we have a chance. So they come to Earth. 17,000 years ago, Earth received the exiles of Capella. 13,000 years ago, right before the Golden Age of Leo, Atlantis fell. And then we had the Golden Age. After the Golden Age, Earth decided to bring down the vibration of the planet to the 3rd dimension in order to receive those souls that was here playing on the with lower vibration emotions. If Earth continue on the 5th dimension, they would not be able to incarnate on Earth. They will be exiles of Earth and looking for another planet to work out their karma. So Earth bring down the vibration to the 3rd dimension, and there was designed 3D bodies for those to receive those souls back to Earth. So in the end of the Golden Age, they clean up the Earth of all signs of advanced technology and so on, and they bring new bodies where they put all over the planet in each continent. Did you realize that, for example, when Christopher Columbus found the America, who was there? the native Indian. When Pedro Álvares Cabral discovered Brazil, who was there? Indians, the natives. When the Spanish found the South America, who were there? So there is native Indian spread all over the planet. Who put them there? The seeders. That they were reseeding the planet after the fall of Atlantis and all after the Golden Ages. And for a good times like 4,000 years, the project was working well. Those souls was working out their karma. They learned to work in a community and rely on each other. They had to reconnect to the environment, to Earth, in order to extract that survival. And that was a successful plan. And they were bringing the vibration of the planet up. However, it was very slow. It was going very slow. And Earth wanted to, before the next golden age, is like 11,000 years, she wanted to have enough light to go to the fifth dimension, come back to the fifth dimension. So she wanted to cross the new golden ages, the next golden age in the fifth dimension. And at this point, she had like 48% of light. And when she reached 50% of light, there would be enough light to guarantee that she would go to the fifth dimension. But depending only on the Indians, on the natives, she thought, oh, we need to bring some new souls to speed up the process. So let me just go quick here actually, because it kind of explained everything in one. So sorry if you already saw the presentation. If you didn't see the presentation yet, I invited you to go back and watch the part 1. The fall of Atlantis happened exactly here, on the transition to the new golden ages, when the Earth was about to cross the photon belt. Okay, so another thing here, when happened the fall of Atlantis, the seeders, the protectors of Earth, the creators of Earth, they clean up the planet of all low vibration energies. So they really cleaned up the planet. They took away all the low vibration energies that was on the planet, and they send them to a fourth dimensional field outside the planet. And then they place energetic grid of 5 dimensions around the planet Earth. So if you are vibrating in a certain dimension, you can only go down. You can never go up. You cannot, being that is vibrating in the 4th dimension, they cannot cross a 5th dimensional grid. So that's how Earth was protected and free of low vibration energies for about the 2 years when it was in the 2,000 years on the golden ages, and then plus 4,000 years when Earth had only the natives. And of course the natives, they was working out their karmas, so they still wanna play with, they still was playing once in a while with their low vibration energies, but it wasn't enough to bring down the vibration of the planet. So when they decided to bring new souls, Earth found, okay, let's bring new souls with more light to bring some technology, bring some advancement to the planet, and rise the energy just to guarantee that when the next golden age arrive, I will be ready to go to back to the fifth dimension. So they designed other bodies because the natives, they had 3D bodies, but they want the new bodies to hold enough light to be able to get to bring technology and a lot of knowledge and light. And for that, they also didn't forget who they were. So they redesigned the 5D bodies again, and there was the people that they placed in Europe, the white people, that's where they came from. And they were kind of, they would look like the Lemurian and Atlanteans, but the difference is while the Lemurians was more the divine feminine, in the Atlanteans, the divine masculine, they came with a balance of both energies. So at the same time they were higher advanced in technology and science, they also kept their intuition and connection with Earth and connected to the divine. So there was no way for them to be corrupted. And what happened here, in order to bring those new souls, they had to open the 5D grids for the souls to come in. When they did that, the low vibration energies that was trapped on the fourth dimensional field, they also came back to Earth. And then for about 1,000 years, they didn't had much thing to do, because those new souls, they were not really corrupted, because they had a strong connection with the divine, so they were not able to be corrupted. But the beings on the fourth dimension, they don't remember, they forgot they are one with God, but they still have high technology, they are highly intelligent, and they come up with a plan. All those, the humans has 22 threads of DNA. Even the Indians, they came in 3D bodies, but they were able to remember who they were. They were able to ascend just by practicing and connecting with their spirituality, going within. They were able to ascend. But what they did here, the Anunnakis, they decided to change our DNA. They disconnected 20 of the 22 threads of DNA and left only 2 base responsible for the basic survival. So when you hear that we use only 10% of our brain, that's a relation to that. If those new souls and the people from Lemuria and Atlantis, they had the 22 threads of DNA active, and they remember who they were, so they are very powerful. Their brain, they could do amazing things with their mind. So when they did that, they really spoiled the project. They spoiled the project. It's like Earth is like a project, and then the seeders, they had to decide, okay, the project is the human race is kind of damaged right now. What do we do? Do we bring everybody back and then send back new bodies and they incarnate it again, or we just continue with the project and see how it happened? So they decided just to leave it and see what could be done. And during like 5,000 years, their plan really brought the vibration of the planet really down. So instead of rise the vibration of the planet was going really, really down. There was an imbalance. So the darkness was overcoming the light. And the way they did, they work behind the scenes. They don't show themselves. I'm talking about the dark forces, but they are able to influence the people in power in order to enslave the rest of the population. So about 2,000 years ago, Earth was really dark. Though the Romans was really dominating everybody. They're going against the law of the free will. They are dominating everybody, enslaving everybody. So they come up with a plan. Okay, we need to send some light, we need to send some help to Earth. And not only to bring the light directly, but also to teach the humans to reconnect back to their divinity, to reconnect their DNA and to get in touch with their divine. So let's send divine being. Let's send a being that's in connection with the divine, from the vibrating over the 13th dimension, that's reach Christ's energy. Let's send a being like that in a special body, that he'll gonna remember that he will be one, that he's still one with God, and he'll have all his power, and he will be a teacher to teach people to that they can do much more than they think they can do. So the plan, they started to preparing the way. Okay, sorry, I just forgot one thing. The new souls, the main focus was to bring up the vibration of the planet. So they created many monuments, and many of those they were designed to capture the energy of the universe, amplify and spread throughout the planet. So that was the main idea. That's what many of those stone architectures are for. So they prepared the way for Jesus. The way they prepared the way, first it always started with his grandma, Anna. Anna was the mother of Mary, and Anna lived more than 600 years. There is a book that's called Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. I'm gonna show in the end. It's really amazing, that book, and she gave view of everything that happened. She was the one telling the story through channeling. So she lived more than 600 years, and she was part of the Essenes. The Essenes was one community that one of the communities is responsible to guard and protect the ancient knowledges. So she made a lot of initiation. She studied through all those knowledges, and she was able to reconnect all her DNA, and she was able to learn to do all the things that the new souls could do when they came, and also the Atlanteans and Lemurian could do. She could teletransport, she could bilocate, she could do many things. And when she was over 500 years, she had the visitor of light beings that told, we're gonna come through you to prepare the way for Jesus. So the first one that came was Joseph of Arimathea. It was her first son, and he was highly very intelligent. He could speak many languages, and he became very rich, and he was the one that financed all the project. Let's put it this way. And then she received many other kids that also have kids, and many of her grandkids were some of the disciples of Jesus. And then for last, she got Mary. She gave birth to Mary. But before she gave birth to Mary, she prepared her body to increase the light in her body in a way that when Mary came, Mary already came with the 22 strands of DNA active, and she came with a lot of light, and she came remember who she was, that she was one with God. And then Mary gave birth to Jesus when she was 16, and she made all those initiations also, and she was able to bring Jesus with even more light than her body could hold. And last year we have the conjunction of the planets, where we saw that big star on the sky, and it's told that the same is the same star that the king saw when Jesus was born. He chose that moment on time because that was a time when Earth was receiving a lot of good energy. So he chose that moment to come in. And the plan to bring Jesus was really a success, and he was able to teach a lot of people. He was able to teach a lot of people to reconnect with their divine, to reactivate their DNA, but of course the dark forces didn't like that. So they find out a way to kill Jesus, but they killed Jesus, but they could not kill the teaching. So they started killing everybody that would talk about Jesus. But that also wasn't working until they come up with a plan. Okay, let's keep Jesus teaching, but we're gonna twist the things in a little bit to make people believe that to get to Jesus and God, they need to come through us first. So that's how they would keep the control. And then in name of Jesus, unfortunately, they had done terrible things. I'm talking about the Crusades. And even though many people was positively influenced with the Jesus teaching and really was able to raise the vibration of the planet, they were able to keep the vibration down and still control the people, still enslave the people's mind. But a positive thing is they left there the main teaching of Jesus was love, but that was not the only one. He told that everything that I do, you also can do. You also sons and daughters of God. And you can connect to God directly. But that part they try to hide. So, about 300 years ago, the dark force got more allies. They came to Earth, and then they hid themselves under the planet, inside the planet, and they kept to work with the manipulating the mind, controlling the mind of the leaders of the planet to keep people in fear and a kind of, the ones that they could not enslave physically, but they were able to create like a mental enslavement through fear and other things, and put one against each other. And then in 1945, everybody knows, or most of you know what happened. There was the nuclear bomb. The nuclear bomb fell in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And that moment was really a sad moment. It really caught the attention of the whole world. And of course, when those kind of things happen, we start questioning, well, we are all the same race. We are all one. Why we are killing our brothers and sisters? That doesn't make sense. So it was kind of a wake-up call for many people, but at the same time, Dolores Cannon wrote a book, Is So Remember Hiroshima? And in that book, I could find out that those people, they didn't die right away. That was terrible. They were in that situation without any hope for some of them for weeks, without they finally die. That was a terrible thing. But at the same time, that event broke a primary directive. It's like a rule. When they created the earth, they created some rules. Okay, everybody that incarnated there, that's on earth, has free will. So, but you are allowed to do anything. You are allowed even to kill yourself or kill each other, because we can't really die. Our soul is immortal. That is allowed. But one thing is not allowed: to destroy physically the planet. That was not allowed. And that was what was about to happen before the fall of Atlantis. That's why they had to sink Atlantis. I'm gonna make a video giving more detail about the fall of Atlantis. And at that moment, Earth was about to be destroyed. The problem was not only the two bombs that dropped. What do you think that happened with all the other countries that was already working their bombs? They started to speed up their testing. They also wanted to be able to send one if they needed to. So they could intervene. They could. The only time that the seeders, the creators of Earth, was allowed to intervene was if they were about to destroy the planet. But instead of end up with all the project in that time, they tried something different. They came, and then they am talking about the Good ETs, the Good Alliance, the Galactic Federation of Wars. They are a military force that vibrating over in 5 dimension and up, and they are responsible to keep the balance in the universe. So if there is a race that in development, another race that has more advanced technology cannot go there and just enslave that race that has no way to defend themselves, unless they invited them in. That's another story. So they came, intervene, they talk with the authorities, they make them stop. But there was still a big problem. The vibration of the humans was really low. The light of the planet was really low. We're not gonna make it to the Golden Ages in that time, that way. And Dolores Cannon, she wrote 3 books about conversations with Nostradamus. Nostradamus, he was able, the future was shown to him, and it was a future that was not good for the planet or for the humans. So he wrote quatrains. He was living the time of the Inquisition, so he wrote quatrains in a way that only himself could decipher. And one of his interviews when he was alive, he would say that he would talk with spirits from the future. And during the composition of the book, Dolores figured out that he was talking about her and her subjects. And so he contacted her during a session of hypnosis through the subject, and they start working on translate all the quatrains, especially the ones that didn't had happened at that point yet. And there was a sense of urgency because we're going through a timeline when where Earth would be destroyed with all human race. So I would just say that will not gonna happen. We changed the trajectory. They published the books, and when there was something else that another plan that they thought about here. In 1945, they not only make the governments to stop with their tests, they also thought they come up with a plan. Okay, we need to rise the vibration of the human race. We need to rise the vibration. How are we gonna do that? And then somebody come up with a plan. Let's do from within. Let's have high vibration. Let's have advanced beings incarnate on Earth, bring as much light as possible. They will not be trapped in the wheel of karma, and they'll be able to rise the vibration. Because they couldn't intervene openly, because that's against the universal law. Advanced race cannot intervene openly with another, with a development race. For example, they could not show themselves in national television. They have technology that they could just show up in all your equipments at once, like all the TVs, all the phones, all the computers. And look, humans, stop fighting against each other. Your brother, your neighbor is not your enemy. The real enemy is the dark forces working behind the scenes, manipulating your government that's in power to feed you fear and enslave you. They cannot do that. So they come up with a plan, say, let's do that from within. Dolores Cannon, again, she wrote another book. It's called The Three Waves of Volunteer and the New Earth. That she talked, there was an SOS call sent out to the whole universe. Earth needs help. Who wants to volunteer to incarnate on Earth and bring light to Earth? And then man said, oh, I'm in, count me in. And then maybe you are one of them. Maybe I am one of them. So those, what we call starseeds came. The first one we'll call indigos, and then we have the crystal, rainbows, and there are many names for them. Another time I'm gonna make a video about the starseeds. So there was a very successful plan, because those souls start to come, even though they didn't remember who they were. The parents was also volunteer to receive those kids, and they manipulated the DNA before they were born and sometimes after to reconnect their DNA. And sometimes they would they will program to be reconnected later on. And those kids, just by being in the proximity of other people, would rise their vibration. And they didn't even knew where that was coming from. And then they just start coming, and more and more and more and more. And now it's a lot of them, and they never stop coming. They never stop coming. And there was a really successful plan, and that plan really changed the trajectory of our destiny. And I'm happy to say Earth won't be destroyed, the human race will not be destroyed. We were able to change the timeline. But in 1953, of course, the dark forces wasn't happy with those people coming here, and they saw they were losing. So it's okay, we need to do something. So they came to Earth. They came many countries, but I'm talking about US, and they want to make a treaty so they could install themselves here and try to manipulate us. That was with the President Eisenhower. I'm not going to give too much detail about that, but who signed the treaty with the low vibrational ETs was the Majestic 12. The Majestic 12 is a branch of the military that they were created to work with anything concern extraterrestrial. And they designed themselves in a way they were above the president. So the president, they didn't have to ask permission to the president to do things. Basically, it was that. So they signed the treaty in the back of the President Eisenhower. But at the same time, the Galactic Federation of Worlds sent some people to warn the president and everybody about that treaty. That treaty has to do with alien abduction. That I'm not gonna go too much about that now. But ELS11, she wrote a book. It's called "We Will Never Let You Down." That's a beautiful, amazing book that explains in detail about that. I'm gonna show you later. So the Galactic Federation of Worlds sent some people here, and then to talk to the Eisenhower. He wanted to do the agreement with them, but then the Majestic 12 did in his back. So the Galactic Federation of Worlds didn't just say, "Oh, we lost, let's just go home." No, they didn't do that. They create an Earth alliance with a good military, the Marines in that case, and through all this time they have been working behind the scenes to combat these dark forces here. So, and along with the Starseeds that was also coming more and more and more, in 1987 Earth reached 50% of light. With 50% of light, she was able to go to the fifth dimension. But it wasn't until 2012 that she could really secure the timeline, because in between here, that would be kind of going back and forth. Oh, now we are 49, now we got 52, and so on. But in 2012, we had enough light that no matter what, Earth will go to the fifth dimension, with or without humans. But I'm proud to say that the last years I'm learning that we are over 80% of light right now. So what happened in 2020? Let's put the lockdown, the pandemic. That's been really a terrible thing, so many deaths, and not only through the pandemic, but so many suicide, and so many people got depressed. And what happened with all those depressions and suicide is we were being programmed never to work on our bad emotions, never to work on our traumas. So it's something disturbing us, it's something causes us a bad emotion. Instead of work on that, we were programmed to get distracted, to numb ourselves with television, with exercise, with shopping, with drugs, you name it. So we'd never go within. But with the lockdown and pandemic, many of those things was not available. So people, they didn't know what to do with those bad emotions that was coming up. And at the same time, the energy of the planet was rising. Because if you watch my video that I call Where Are We in the Universe, I explain about the photon belt. The photon belt, there is a photon belt that spins vertically around Alcyone, and the solar system goes around Alcyone and crosses that belt twice. Every time it's crossed the belt, it takes 2,000 years, and that's the Golden Age. So we are already with our feet on the Golden Ages. So we on Earth, we already started to receive those lights from the photon belt. So all those traumas that is hidden in the subconscious, they're starting to come back to the surface, to the conscious mind. And because people are not able to go, many of the resources they had to numb those traumas is not available. They didn't know what to do. And unfortunately, many of them, they just decided to leave. But many started to go within and really work out those traumas and reconnect their DNA and get in touch with their divine source that is inside them. And another positive thing that happened was throughout the last years, we have been in a rush mode, in automatic modes. We were working like robots. We woke up, we get rest, we make breakfast, get the kids ready to school, take the kids, go work, come back, get the kids, cook dinner, do homework. We didn't have time for absolutely nothing. They planned that by design, so we never would have time to go within. But for the first time, we had time to think. And then we started to look in what we were doing and thinking. Say, oh, why have I been doing that? I've been doing that for years. That's not good for me. What I'm doing is not good for my family, it's not good for my kids. What I'm doing, what I did for so long. Oh, because I wasn't even realize I was doing. I was in such a rush that I didn't realize I was doing. But now that I know what I'm doing, I have the power to change. So there was a big transformation on the minds of people. So many people started to wake up even more. Starting here, people started to wake up in a grand scale. But after 2019, people started really to wake up to their true power. They really started going within and releasing all their traumas and working on themselves and reconnecting their DNA and getting in contact with God and the nature and choosing what's good for themselves and for everybody around them. And I'm very proud to say that for the first time in the history of the whole universe and the multiverse, a planet will transit from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, carrying a large amount, a large quantity of, let's say, amount of humans that also transit their body from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. That's like unprecedented time in history. And there are beings from all over the universe that is just looking at us from us. Wow, you guys are doing really good. Congratulations. You are really brave. But another thing is, if you watch my video about the photon belt, where we are in the universe, then I say that the photon belt is, the vibration is compatible with the 540 and up. That's mean joy, love. So it's very important that we work up all our karmas, that we really purify our body and mind of all bad emotions. So when we are fully inside that photon belt, we are vibrating only love. And then you ask me, but Maria, that will have like a date limit? Okay, let's say if you're not, if you didn't work out all your bad emotions, all your traumas in 5 years, so everybody that didn't was just to be wiped out from Earth. And I say, no, that's not gonna happen this way. Where will go one, will go all. But let me explain you why. Many of those kids, all those kids that start born somewhere around here, they already come with their 22 strands of DNA active. They already come holding all the light that they need to cross. And when the people that incarnated here, somewhere around here, they're still alive, when they do their reincarnation plan, when they are still in the non-physical world, making the plan for their incarnation, they knew this would happen. And over there, they make the decision, will I work out everything that I need to work out and embrace that light? Or will I prefer, it's okay, I don't want to, I'm not ready for that yet, I will just come and enjoy this time here and then leave, and then later on I continue my journey in another planet. So that will be all by design. Everybody that came here that decided not to embrace the light, they had the time that they programmed to have to work on themselves and then leave. And of course there will be causality, there will be some tragedies, like some of those souls, they decided to live in a collective way. So there will be some disasters, and the way they designed that was to call the attention of everybody else, because we have been programmed to be in the automatic mode and never really stay on the present. But when something like that happened, it's called the attention of the people to the present moment, and they started to think, oh, okay, life can end anytime. So what I'm really doing, is that how I want to live my life? So they volunteer to, and they plan to live in a collective way together to call their attention. So if in a few years you see those disasters happening, please do not think it's the end of the world, because it's not. The world will not end. Earth will not end. There will be a transition from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, and the majority of us that are here right now, made the choice to go with the planet to the fifth dimension. So that's really, really a great news. I have lots of videos that I explain. I talk about what I've learned all those years. That's really helped me go inside, reconnect my DNA, reconnect to the divine, get away from fear, reconnect it to love, peace, and happiness. That's your true inheritance, guaranteed by God. So take back your power and remember that you make that choice to go with Earth to the fifth dimension. So Elena Dinant, she wrote 2 amazing books, and she is working on the 3rd one that will be about the Cedars. And she's still in contact with her. She's one of the star kids, and she's still in contact with her alien family, and they take her aboard their ships, and she goes to other planets. They show things to her so she can tell us, and they show her an image of the future of Earth 100 years from now, and she see people in human bodies. Is less dense than we are right now, because it'll be like 5D bodies, and she sees a lot of suspended cities. And the reason why we're gonna build those suspended cities is for the planet to have the chance to recover, because unfortunately Earth is being really beaten at this time. So that's really an amazing news, and I hope you enjoy what I had to say. I did just one more presentation for you guys. The last 20, let's say the last lap that the sun went around Alcyone has been the most exciting one. So it's always started with the Anunnakis come right after the last golden ages of Aquarius, and then we received the exiles of Capella, and then there was the fall of Atlantis right before the golden age of Leo. Somewhere over here, Earth was reseeded with the 3D bodies. We received the new souls. Jesus came to help us to reconnect with our light, the light within, and bring balance to the planet. And more alien invasion. The intervention, the Starseeds start to come in 1945. And then in 2012, Earth was guaranteed to go to the fifth dimension. And I'm proud to say we are going with Earth. That's amazing. So in about, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 50 years, all of us that will remain on Earth will have all the 20 threads of DNA. There are some humans with even more, all active. We're going to remember that we are one with God. We're going to remember that we are one with all there is, with the whole universe, with each other, with the planet. That will be amazing. So, as I promised, let me show the books. This book from Elena Dinant, she illustrated more than 100 ET races that interact with Earth. This book is amazing. This book may help you activate some of your memories. That's happened to me, and that was for good. So, just to say. This is her other book, We Will Never Let You Down. She explains about the 3D and other amazing things. There is a lot of good news in this book. And this one is the book about the grammar and the grammar of Jesus. I learned so much from this book. That's really an amazing book. And the last one that I want to show you is this book. This book, Transylvanian Sunrise. They found an alien, let's say, the aliens, the seeders, they left some gifts for us hidden in some parts of the earth. And they found inside this mountain lots of alien technology, amazing alien technologies. I forgot the name of the country, I'm not sure, it's Armenia or Romania. But this book is amazing. It's kind of boring until the 4th chapter, but please continue with starting the 4th chapter, and then we started to understand what they even wrote the book. That's really amazing. It's really surprised me. So that's all I wanted to present for you guys. If you didn't subscribe yet and you like what I talk about, please subscribe, share to your friends. And of course, you don't need to believe in everything that is said. You don't need to believe in actually nothing that is said. Just take what resonates with you. But if you're curious, do your own research and start working on yourself, going within, rise your vibration, and see you next time. Thank you very much for watching my video all the way here, and I love each one of you. See you in my next video.